Have you ever felt that someone close to you wasn't showing their true face? Like there was a mask hiding something darker beneath their smile? It's a chilling feeling, the kind that makes your stomach twist and your chest tighten. You can't explain it clearly, but you know something is off. Deep down, your instincts whisper that you're standing in front of someone who doesn't want the best for you. That feeling isn't random. It's a signal, a survival instinct wired into you to protect your heart, your mind, and your life from people who drain your energy and twist your spirit. The truth is, evil doesn't always announce itself with dramatic threats or obvious harm. Most of the time it hides behind charm, politeness, and clever words. And if you aren't alert, it can slip into your life quietly, leaving scars you'll carry for years. Right now, you might think of someone in your past, maybe even someone in your present who fits this description. Someone who once made you doubt your worth. Someone who manipulated your kindness. Someone who smiled at you while secretly pulling you down. That memory isn't just pain. It's proof that you already know how dangerous it is to ignore those inner warning signs. And here's why this matters. The most successful, confident, and fulfilled people in life are not the ones who never meet evil. They're the ones who learn how to recognize it, how to guard themselves, and how to walk away with their power still intact. When you allow someone's poison to live in your space, it seeps into your decisions, your energy, and your confidence. But when you see it for what it is, when you learn the signs that reveal a person's true nature, you take back control. You no longer waste years of your life tied to someone who thrives on your pain. You stop being fooled and instead you rise above. That's the gift waiting for you if you choose to pay attention right now. Imagine the relief of waking up without second-guessing every word you say. Imagine the peace of knowing the people around you truly want to see you win. Imagine how much stronger you'll feel when you trust yourself enough to walk away from anyone who doesn't align with your growth. That's what's at stake here. This isn't just about spotting evil. This is about protecting your dreams, your happiness, and your future from those who want to steal them. So stay with me because what you'll hear in the next few minutes can transform the way you see people forever. These insights are not about fear, they are about freedom. They are not about building walls, they are about building wisdom. Each sign you learn is like a shield placed in your hands. And when you hold that shield, you stop being a target, you stop being prey. You become untouchable to those who feed on weakness. You owe it to yourself to see the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. Because once you know the signs, you can never be fooled again. You will walk with clarity, with courage, and with the kind of confidence that makes darkness step back. Stay here, stay alert, and prepare to step into a version of yourself that no evil person can control. The first sign reveals itself in the way they make you question your own reality. Evil people thrive on confusion. They twist your words, deny what you know you saw, and insist that your memory is flawed. It's not always obvious at first. Sometimes it's small comments that make you hesitate. You tell them how something made you feel, and instead of listening, they turn it back on you, suggesting you're too sensitive, too dramatic, or simply imagining things. Slowly, piece by piece, they erode your trust in yourself. And once your confidence is shaken, they gain control. Because when you doubt your own judgment, you become easier to manipulate. This is called gaslighting, and it is one of the most powerful tools of manipulation ever used. It's not just about lying, it's about rewriting your sense of truth until you can no longer tell the difference between your own thoughts and the false reality they are feeding you. Studies in psychology show how destructive this is to the human mind. When someone is constantly told that their feelings or memories are wrong, their brain adapts by lowering trust in itself. That means you second guess everything, even simple decisions. The result is paralysis. You become dependent on the person who is causing the harm because they position themselves as the only one who knows what's real. Think about the power in that. If someone can convince you that up is down and right is wrong, they can lead you anywhere. They can make you apologize for their mistakes. They can make you carry guilt that doesn't belong to you. They can make you beg for approval from someone who never intends to give it. That's why recognizing this sign is so crucial. The moment you feel your reality being pulled out from under you, you need to pause and reclaim it. You need to remind yourself that your feelings are valid, that your experiences are real, and that no one has the right to rewrite your truth. The strength to resist gaslighting doesn't come from fighting harder against their words. It comes from anchoring yourself in self-awareness. When you learn to trust your intuition and honor your emotions, their lies lose power. Confidence is the antidote. When you stand firm in what you know, when you repeat to yourself that your truth is unshakable, their manipulation collapses because their power only works when you hand over your certainty. Ask yourself, how many times have you swallowed your instincts because someone told you that you were overreacting? How many times did you silence your voice because they made you believe it didn't matter? That silence is the trap. But breaking free starts with one simple choice: to believe yourself again, to trust that inner voice that has been trying to protect you all along. Every time you choose your truth over their distortion, you rebuild your strength. You take back the part of you they tried to erase. And with every step of reclaiming, you grow harder to fool, harder to control, harder to break. This is what evil fears the most. Not your anger, not your resistance, but your clarity. Because once you see clearly, they lose their grip forever. The second sign hides in the way they drain your energy through constant negativity and subtle cruelty. Evil rarely shows itself with open attacks at the start. Instead, it slips into your life by normalizing small doses of poison, little remarks that chip away at your spirit. They might disguise it as a joke, delivered with a smile, but the words sting. They might cloak it as advice, but it feels more like judgment. And over time, those tiny cuts build scars that shape the way you see yourself. You begin to feel smaller, weaker, and unworthy, without even realizing where the weight is coming from. This pattern is no accident. It's psychological warfare. Research shows that repeated exposure to criticism and belittlement rewires the brain, creating patterns of self-doubt and low self-esteem. That's how powerful words are. They can shape your identity. When someone constantly surrounds you with negativity, you start to wear their opinions like a second skin. You hear their voice in your head even when they aren't around. That is how they take control of your life, not with chains, but with carefully placed words that sink deep into your subconscious. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. You are not what they say. Their cruelty is not a reflection of your worth. It is a projection of their emptiness. People who are secure in themselves lift others. People who carry light and courage inspire and protect. It is only those who are trapped in darkness that feel the need to pull others down to feel tall. When you understand this, their words lose their bite. You stop seeing them as truth and start seeing them for what they really are: attempts to control you through doubt. Think about how much stronger you feel when you're surrounded by people who believe in you. Think about how your energy rises when someone affirms your dreams instead of mocking them. That is the power of words used with love. And if love can build, then cruelty can destroy. The question is, which will you allow into your life? Every insult you accept without questioning is like a brick laid on your back. But every time you choose to reject those lies, you drop the weight and step taller. You have the power to protect your space. You have the power to decide which voices get to shape your mind. And when you set that boundary, when you refuse to let their negativity take root, something incredible happens. You rise above them. Their words bounce off you instead of sinking in. Their attempts to shrink you fail because you've already decided you will not live small. Remember this: the most dangerous thing about an evil person's negativity is not that it hurts you in the moment, but that it tries to convince you to stop believing in yourself. The moment you see this trick, the spell breaks. You reclaim your energy, you reclaim your voice, and you start to rebuild the unshakable confidence they tried to steal. That is how you transform from being their victim into becoming untouchable. The third sign shows itself in the way they use control disguised as care. On the surface, it may look like concern, attention, or even love, but underneath, it is about power. They want to dictate where you go, who you see, how you spend your time, and even what you dream of becoming. At first, it can feel flattering, as though someone cares so deeply about you that they want to be involved in every part of your life. But soon you realize it's not about love. It's about ownership. And the moment you surrender your independence, you begin to lose yourself piece by piece. Control is one of the most addictive forms of power. Psychology shows that people who fear their own lack of worth often compensate by dominating others. They feel safer when they can shrink the freedom of the people around them. And so they build invisible cages. The bars aren't metal. They're made of guilt, obligation, and manipulation. They tell you they only want what's best for you, but what they really want is to keep you under their influence. Their greatest fear is seeing you strong enough to walk away. The dangers that control often hides in small, seemingly harmless actions. They ask constant questions, but not out of curiosity, out of suspicion. They want to know every detail of your day, not to connect, but to monitor. They make you feel guilty for spending time on yourself, subtly suggesting that your choices are selfish if they don't include them. Over time, you adjust. You shrink your world to avoid their disapproval. You stop pursuing dreams that might upset them. You stop speaking truths that might offend them. You trade your freedom for temporary peace. But that peace is an illusion because real love does not demand submission. Real love celebrates freedom. Think about the strength of your spirit when you are free. Think about the energy that flows when no one is standing over you, controlling your every move. Freedom is the soil where dreams grow. It is the space where confidence takes root. And it is the gift that every healthy relationship should give you. When someone tries to strip that away, they are not protecting you. They are dismantling you. But the moment you recognize control for what it is, you gain the power to reject it. You can begin to reclaim your time, your choices, and your identity. And yes, it may trigger anger from the one who seeks to control you. They may accuse you of being selfish, cold, or ungrateful. But their anger is not a sign that you are wrong. It is proof that they are losing the grip they should never have had. True strength is not measured by how well you obey others. True strength is measured by how boldly you live your truth. And no evil person can tolerate someone who refuses to bow down. When you choose freedom over control, you rise above their reach. You step back into the life that belongs to you, not to them. That decision is not just an act of defiance, it is an act of self-respect, the foundation of unshakable power. The fourth sign lies in the way they lack empathy, the way their heart seems cold when yours is open. You can pour out your struggles, your fears, your deepest wounds, and instead of compassion, you are met with indifference. Sometimes they don't even pretend to care. Other times they mimic concern, but you can feel it is hollow. Their eyes don't soften, their words don't soothe, and their actions never match the performance. This absence of empathy is one of the clearest markers of an evil spirit because it reveals a soul unwilling to connect with the humanity of another. Empathy is the foundation of every healthy bond. Psychology shows that humans are wired for connection, that when we witness another's pain, our brain lights up as if we are experiencing it ourselves. This is what allows relationships to heal, to nurture, to grow. When someone lacks this ability, they're missing the very thing that makes relationships real. Instead of connection, they use people as tools. Instead of compassion, they see opportunity. Your joy becomes something to envy. Your pain becomes something to exploit. And that emptiness in them creates emptiness in you because you keep giving, hoping one day they will finally feel something real. But the tragedy of trying to awaken empathy in someone who does not have it is that it keeps you trapped. You end up bending, sacrificing, and exhausting yourself for someone who will never return what you give. And the longer you stay, the more you question your own value. You begin to wonder if maybe you don't deserve compassion, if maybe your pain really doesn't matter. That is the most dangerous lie of all because once you believe it, you stop expecting better. You settle for coldness, forgetting that warmth exists. The truth is your heart was never the problem. Your ability to feel deeply, to care, to give, that is your strength, not your weakness. The problem lies with those who cannot mirror that humanity. And once you understand this, you stop begging for love from those who are incapable of giving it. You stop waiting for empathy where there is none. Instead, you begin to protect your heart, to save your energy for those who can meet you with genuine compassion. Think of the power you reclaim when you no longer need their validation. Imagine the freedom of knowing that their lack of empathy is not proof of your unworthiness, but proof of their emptiness. When you see it that way, you no longer feel small. You feel free. You realize that protecting your heart from their indifference is not selfish. It is survival. It is the act of choosing life over slow emotional death. When you walk away from someone who cannot feel for you, you walk back into the arms of your own strength. You walk back into relationships where your joy is celebrated, where your pain is shared, where your humanity is honored. And that is where you were always meant to be. Evil people may lack empathy, but you do not. Your gift is your ability to feel. And when you protect that gift, you rise stronger, brighter, and untouchable by their emptiness. The fifth sign reveals itself in the way they take pleasure in the suffering of others. This is not always loud or obvious. Sometimes it's a subtle smile when you fail, a spark in their eyes when you're in pain, or a sense of satisfaction when something you worked hard for crumbles. Other times it's more blatant, as if your struggles are entertainment, as if your wounds are trophies. This is one of the darkest traits a person can carry. The inability to celebrate joy without secretly hoping for your downfall. It may seem impossible to believe that someone could actually find delight in another person's misery, but psychology confirms what your instincts already know. There are personalities that thrive on domination, on superiority, on feeding off the weakness of others. To them, your pain is not tragedy, it's power. When you are hurting, they feel stronger. When you lose, they feel victorious. And as long as you remain broken, they remain in control. That is why they never rush to help, why they never truly celebrate your wins, and why they always seem energized by your lowest moments. This is not normal. Healthy people feel joy when others succeed. Healthy hearts reach out when others are hurting. That is what connection looks like. When someone instead takes pleasure in your pain, it reveals a heart poisoned by envy and malice. If you allow yourself to stay near it, you start to absorb the message that your suffering is natural, that your setbacks are inevitable, and that you will never rise beyond the reach of their shadow. This is the slow erosion of hope, and it is deadly to the spirit. But your spirit is not meant to live under their gaze. You were not created to be someone else's source of entertainment or control. You were created to rise, to thrive, to walk in the fullness of your power. And the moment you see through this twisted pleasure, you begin to break free. Because once you recognize that your pain is being fed upon, you refuse to give it freely. You decide that your setbacks will no longer be a show for their satisfaction. Instead, you choose to turn your struggles into fuel, your pain into growth, your wounds into wisdom. Think about how unstoppable you become when you no longer fear failure, when you no longer allow others to use your pain as their victory. Imagine the strength of standing tall even when life tries to break you, not to prove something to them, but to prove something to yourself. Every time you rise after being knocked down, you strip away their power. Every time you refuse to stay broken, you show them that their dark satisfaction is wasted. Your greatest act of defiance against someone who delights in your suffering is to rise anyway, to succeed anyway, to smile anyway, because nothing destroys the grip of evil faster than resilience. And nothing builds your unshakable confidence faster than proving to yourself that no one, no matter how dark their heart, can stop the light inside you. When you live this truth, you become a force they cannot touch, a presence they cannot dim, and a soul that refuses to break. When you understand these signs, a new question arises. What do you do with this knowledge? Because awareness without action changes nothing. Seeing the truth is only the beginning. The real transformation happens when you decide that your life, your peace, and your future matter too much to let evil remain in your circle. This decision is not easy. It takes courage to step back from people you once trusted. It takes strength to walk away from relationships that may have lasted for years. But courage is built in moments of truth, and this is one of those moments. Psychology teaches that the people we allow into our inner world shape everything. Our thoughts, our energy, our confidence, even our physical health. Toxic connections increase stress, weaken the immune system, and create patterns of anxiety that ripple into every part of life. On the other hand, supportive and loving relationships bring calm, increase resilience, and even lengthen life expectancy. That means your choices about who you keep close are not just emotional decisions. They are life and death, decisions for your spirit and your future. Evil thrives in silence. It grows in environments where people are too afraid to speak up or too hesitant to walk away. That's why breaking free is so powerful. Every time you set a boundary, you send a message. My life belongs to me. My mind belongs to me. My heart belongs to me. And no one has the right to poison them. This declaration is not just words. It's an act of reclaiming the power you may have forgotten you had. Yes, walking away can feel terrifying. Fear whispers questions. What if I'm alone? What if they were right about me? What if I can't make it without them? But those questions are the echoes of control, the remnants of manipulation. The truth is, you are stronger than you know. Every time you survive pain, every time you've endured betrayal, every time you've risen from setbacks, you've proven that strength already lives in you. Walking away doesn't make you weaker. It proves that your strength is greater than their hold. Imagine what your life looks like without their shadow. Imagine mornings filled with peace instead of dread. Imagine relationships where your laughter is celebrated instead of envied, where your dreams are nurtured instead of crushed. That future is real. It begins the moment you refuse to stay where evil has planted itself. It begins the moment you trust that your worth is not tied to their approval. You are not here to live small. You are not here to bend under the weight of someone else's darkness. You are here to rise, to shine, to lead, to love, and to live fully alive. And no one, no matter how manipulative, no matter how cruel, no matter how empty, has the right to take that away from you. Choosing freedom is not just about leaving behind what hurts. It's about stepping into what heals. It's about choosing the life you were meant to live. And once you make that choice, you step into a power that no evil can ever touch again. Strength is not just found in leaving behind what breaks you. Strength is also built in learning how to guard your spirit so that darkness cannot enter again. Evil will always exist in the world, but it does not have to exist in your space. You have the power to create boundaries that act like walls of protection around your mind and heart. Boundaries are not walls that shut love out. They are gates that decide what is worthy of entering. And when you learn to set them with clarity and confidence, you no longer have to live in fear of being fooled. Psychology shows that boundaries are one of the most powerful tools for mental health. They reduce stress, increase self-respect, and build stronger, healthier relationships. But here's the challenge. People who thrive on control and manipulation hate boundaries. They push against them, they guilt you for them, they try to make you feel selfish for needing them. That resistance is proof that the boundary is necessary. A healthy person respects limits. An unhealthy one fights them. When you see this, you stop feeling guilty for protecting your space and start feeling proud of it. Every time you say no to what drains you, you are saying yes to what strengthens you. Every time you refuse to allow cruelty into your life, you create space for kindness to grow. Every time you guard your energy from those who exploit it, you give that energy back to your dreams, your goals, and your peace. This is how you build a life where evil cannot thrive, by refusing to give it room. Boundaries are not just about other people. They are also about the promises you make to yourself, the promise to never ignore your intuition again, the promise to trust your feelings even when someone tells you they are wrong, the promise to honor your worth, no matter who tries to devalue it. These inner boundaries are even more important than the outer ones, because once your inner world is strong, no one can shake it from the outside. Think about the freedom of living life on your own terms. Imagine waking up each day knowing that your peace is safe, your energy is protected, and your circle is filled only with those who uplift and inspire. That is not just a dream. It is the reward of building boundaries with courage. It is the life you create when you decide that your heart is not open ground for evil to plant its seeds. The truth is, boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about protecting the life you are building. They are about ensuring that only love, respect, and growth enter your space. And when you live this way, something powerful happens. The wrong people fall away on their own, and the right ones draw closer. Because people who value your worth are not threatened by your boundaries. They are drawn to them. You are not selfish for protecting your energy. You are not cruel for walking away from what hurts you. You are wise. You are strong. And you are building a foundation that no darkness can crack. The moment you honor your boundaries, you honor your future. And in doing so, you step into the kind of power that evil has no answer for. When you claim your power through boundaries, you open the door to something even greater, the rebuilding of your true identity. Evil works by distorting how you see yourself. It thrives on making you forget your worth, convincing you that you are smaller than you are, persuading you that you need its approval to feel whole. But the moment you cut off its influence, you are left with a sacred opportunity, the chance to rediscover who you really are beneath the lies, beneath the manipulation, beneath the scars. This process is not about becoming someone new. It is about returning to the self you were before the poison touched you, the childlike part of you that believed in dreams, that trusted its voice, that felt worthy of love and joy simply by existing. That part of you still lives inside. And the work now is to uncover it, to peel back the layers of doubt and fear that were never yours to carry. Psychology calls this self-concept, the way you see yourself and define your identity. When that concept has been shaped by cruelty and control, it becomes distorted. But when you begin to rebuild it on truth and strength, you transform not just how you see yourself, but how you live every moment of your life. Rebuilding your identity means speaking to yourself with the respect you deserve. It means choosing words that affirm your strength instead of repeating the voices of those who tried to break you. It means reminding yourself daily that your value does not decrease because someone else failed to see it. Identity is not built in one grand moment. It is built in small choices repeated every day until your confidence becomes unshakable. Every time you choose to believe in your worth, you strengthen that identity. Every time you refuse to bow to old lies, you rewrite your story. Think about the freedom that comes when you no longer define yourself by their opinions. Imagine the power of standing tall, knowing that your identity is not dependent on anyone's approval. That kind of self-belief is magnetic. It draws new opportunities, new relationships, and new strength into your life. Because the world responds not to who others say you are, but to who you believe yourself to be. Rebuilding your identity also means daring to dream again. Evil tries to suffocate dreams because dreams make you powerful. Dreams give you direction, energy, and purpose. The moment you begin to envision a bigger future for yourself, you reclaim the territory they tried to steal. You show yourself that you are more than what happened to you, more than what was said to you, more than what was taken from you. You are a creator of new possibilities, and every step toward those dreams is a declaration that you will not be defined by darkness. Your identity is your anchor. When you know who you are, manipulation cannot move you, cruelty cannot crush you, and control cannot cage you. You become rooted in truth, unshakable in storms, and untouchable by lies. Rebuilding is not just healing, it is revolution. And when you stand fully in that identity, you don't just survive evil, you transcend it. You rise as the version of yourself that was always waiting to be revealed. When you rebuild your identity, the next step is learning to fully trust your intuition again. Evil thrives when you doubt yourself, because the moment you silence your inner voice, you become vulnerable to manipulation. Yet that voice inside you, the quiet sense that warns you when something is wrong or nudges you when something is right, has always been your greatest protection. It is your natural compass, sharpened by experience and wired into your very being to keep you safe. The tragedy is not that you lost it, but that someone convinced you to stop listening. Science confirms what you already feel. Intuition is not guesswork. It is your brain processing patterns faster than your conscious mind can register. It is wisdom stored in your subconscious, drawn from everything you've lived through, every lesson you've absorbed, every signal your body detects. When you feel unease in someone's presence, that is not weakness. It is intelligence. When you sense that something is off even though you can't explain it, that is not paranoia. It is protection. Evil people dismiss intuition because it threatens their control. They call you crazy, dramatic, or sensitive because they know the moment you trust that inner signal, their disguise begins to crack. Reclaiming your intuition begins with permission. The permission to listen without needing outside validation. The permission to believe that what you feel is real. Every time you honor that inner whisper, it grows louder, stronger, and clearer. Every time you ignore it, it fades. The key is practice. Start with small decisions. Listen to how your body reacts, how your heart responds. Notice when your energy expands and when it contracts. Notice when someone's presence makes you feel alive and when it drains you. Your intuition is always speaking. It's only waiting for you to pay attention again. The more you trust it, the more unshakable you become. Imagine walking into any room with the certainty that your inner guide will not betray you. Imagine being able to see through masks within moments, not because of paranoia, but because your inner compass is tuned to truth. That is the power of intuition at work. It gives you clarity in a world full of noise. It keeps you grounded when lies try to sway you, and it ensures that no evil can deceive you for long. Think about the freedom of living without constant second guessing. Think about how much energy you reclaim when you no longer wrestle with doubt. This is not just emotional relief, it is empowerment. Because when you trust yourself, you stop needing constant reassurance from others. You stop chasing validation from people who will never give it. You stand firmly in your own knowing, and that strength radiates. Evil cannot thrive where intuition is alive. That inner voice is your shield, your light, your deepest ally. The more you honor it, the harder it becomes for anyone to manipulate you. Trusting yourself is the ultimate act of defiance against those who tried to silence you. It is the declaration that your life is guided not by fear, not by control, not by lies, but by the wisdom already within you. And once you return to that trust, you are no longer at risk of being fooled. You are free. Trusting your intuition naturally leads to a deeper truth. You are not meant to fight this battle alone. Isolation is one of the strongest weapons evil uses, because when you feel cut off, you become easier to control. They convince you that no one else will understand, that no one else will believe you, that you are too weak to stand without them. This is the cage of loneliness they build around you, and it is designed to make you forget your strength. But the reality is, connection is your greatest source of resilience. Human beings are wired for community, and when you surround yourself with people who carry light, your own light burns brighter. Psychological research proves that strong social support is one of the most powerful predictors of resilience and recovery. People who stand with others during hardship not only heal faster, but grow stronger from the experience. Your energy is amplified by the energy of those around you. That means choosing your circle is not just preference, it is strategy. When your circle is filled with love, truth, and encouragement, you are protected from manipulation because the lies of the dark cannot survive in an environment of light. This is why it matters so much to seek out people who lift you, people who celebrate your victories instead of envying them, people who listen to your pain without judgment, people who remind you of your strength when you forget it yourself. These connections are not luxuries, they are lifelines. And when you hold on to them, you realize you are never truly alone. Even in the darkest moments, there is always someone whose light can guide you back to yourself. The courage to build these connections often requires vulnerability. Opening your heart again after it has been hurt feels risky, even terrifying. But vulnerability is not weakness, it is the doorway to healing. Every time you share your truth with someone who cares, you break the chains of silence that evil tried to wrap around you. Every time you allow someone to see your struggle, you weaken the lie that you must carry it all on your own. Connection is the antidote to isolation, and isolation is the soil where evil grows. Imagine the strength of standing with people who see you, who believe in you, who want nothing from you but to see you thrive. Imagine how heavy the world feels when carried alone, and then imagine that same weight being lifted because others have chosen to carry it with you. That is the power of connection. It transforms burdens into lessons, pain into growth, and fear into courage. When you align yourself with the right people, you no longer have to waste energy protecting yourself from constant attacks. You can redirect that energy into building, creating, and rising. And that is exactly what evil fears most, not just your survival, but your thriving. Because when you thrive, you inspire others. When you rise, you give permission for others to rise. And when you live in the strength of community, no single voice of cruelty can silence you again. You are not alone. You were never meant to be alone. The people who truly care will find you, and when you welcome them in, you will discover a force far greater than any darkness. Together, you become unbreakable. Together, you become unstoppable. Together, you become the proof that no evil can win where light and love stand united. When you learn the power of connection, something else begins to awaken inside you, the realization that your boundaries are sacred. Evil thrives when you allow it to cross your lines unchecked. It pushes little by little, testing how much you will allow, testing how far you will bend before you break. And each time you stay silent, each time you excuse the behavior, each time you hope it will change on its own, you give away a piece of yourself. But when you decide that your worth is not negotiable, when you declare that your peace is not for sale, you shift the balance of power. Boundaries are not walls meant to shut the world out. They are gates designed to protect your heart, your time, and your energy. They tell the world what you value, and they teach others how to treat you. It can feel uncomfortable at first, saying no when you were trained to always say yes, walking away when you were conditioned to stay, standing tall when you were expected to shrink. But every act of self-respect strengthens you. Every clear boundary reclaims lost ground. Psychology shows us that people who maintain healthy boundaries experience greater confidence, less anxiety, and deeper relationships. Why? Because they are no longer performing for approval or living in fear of rejection. They are rooted in truth, and truth gives freedom. Evil people despise boundaries because boundaries remove their control. They will try to guilt you, shame you, or manipulate you into lowering your guard. They will call you selfish, cold, or ungrateful. But understand this, your boundaries are not cruelty. They are clarity. They separate the genuine from the false. They expose who respects you and who only seeks to use you. And when someone reveals they cannot handle your boundaries, they are revealing they were never truly for you. That clarity, though painful, is priceless. Think of how strong you become when your yes actually means yes and your no actually means no. You no longer feel pulled in 100 directions. You no longer sacrifice your health to meet everyone else's demands. You no longer chase approval that was never meant to satisfy you. You live aligned with your values, and that alignment creates inner peace. That peace is power. It is a shield against chaos. It is the energy that fuels your growth. Every time you enforce a boundary, you send a message to yourself, I am worth protecting. I am worth honoring. I am worth respect. And when you believe that, others begin to believe it too. You train the world to treat you the way you treat yourself. If you tolerate disrespect, it multiplies. But if you stand firm in your value, you attract those who see it and respect it. Boundaries are not barriers to love. They are the soil where real love can grow, because love without respect is not love at all. Your boundaries are proof that you have chosen yourself, and that choice is the foundation of freedom. Evil loses its grip the moment you no longer play by its rules. And when you stand on the strength of your own worth, you discover that no one can take from you what you refuse to give away. You are stronger than manipulation, stronger than control, stronger than the voices that try to break you. Your boundaries are your victory, and in honoring them, you rise. The moment you embrace your worth through boundaries, you begin to reclaim something even deeper. The voice inside you that evil once tried to silence. That voice is your truth. It is the part of you that knows who you are, what you stand for, and what you deserve. Yet evil people are experts at drowning it out. They talk over you, dismiss your feelings, twist your words, and make you question your own reality. They convince you that your truth is too small, too inconvenient, or too fragile to matter. But the reality is the opposite. Your truth is your power, and when you give it air, it becomes unshakable. Speaking your truth is not about arguing or proving anyone wrong. It is about refusing to betray yourself. It is the courage to stand by your feelings, your needs, and your values, even when others mock or minimize them. Psychology teaches us that suppressing your truth leads to stress, anxiety, and even physical illness. The body carries the weight of every unspoken word, every swallowed emotion, every moment you deny what your soul was screaming. But when you give yourself permission to voice it, you release that weight. You create alignment between what you feel inside and what you express outside. And alignment is freedom. Of course, speaking your truth will not always be met with applause. Some will resist it because it exposes their manipulation. Others will reject it because it holds them accountable. That resistance is not a sign that you should stay silent. It is proof that your voice has power. And the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Confidence is built one word at a time, one boundary spoken aloud, one declaration of who you are and who you refuse to be. With each step, your voice grows clearer, steadier, and more unshakable. Think of how life transforms when your voice is no longer hidden. You no longer bend yourself into shapes that please others. You no longer stay quiet to keep the peace while chaos rots you from within. You no longer confuse silence with strength. Instead, you live in truth, and truth always brings clarity. It may cost you people who cannot handle honesty, but it will attract people who value integrity. It may close some doors, but it will open the ones that lead to freedom. Evil counts on your silence. It counts on your hesitation. It counts on you doubting yourself just long enough to keep you trapped. But when you step into your truth, you break the spell. You show yourself that your voice is stronger than their lies. You prove that your perspective is valid, your feelings are real, and your needs are worthy. That realization cannot be undone. Once you taste the freedom of truth, you will never again settle for chains. Your voice is not just sound, it is power. It is the energy that commands respect, the force that protects your dignity, the shield that guards your spirit. Every time you speak it, you rise higher above the shadows. Every time you honor it, you create a world where evil has less space to breathe. And when you finally live aligned with your voice, No one, not the manipulator, not the liar, not the destroyer, can take that freedom from you. You become untouchable because